How are you? Good. Good. Morning. Yeah, very nice to be here. First time. Actually, I was supposed to come with my wife, and this was how many months ago? Oh, more. Yeah, the time running fast. Three, 3 months. So somebody asked me, "How do you feel?" And I was thinking, actually, you asked me. I was thinking, something is missing. It's my wife is missing. Right? Those who are married, you know the feeling, right? Yeah. But most of all, because she's from, I mean, her ancestors from this country, they are from Cork. Yeah. So she really wanted to come here. She was really longing. So finally, I can go to my hometown in my ancestor home. But what's happened is my mother, she was 92. She passed away suddenly. And so we changed our route. We went to Italy. And then actually, I got hit by a car while I was crossing the road. And you can see a little bit of sign here. But, this is part of life. And, you're put always into some kind of a test. But, I really wanted to come to see you. Of course, I'm talking to Eli and his wife sometime online, but online is different. It's good to be here with you. So, yeah, so today I prepare something. Let me see. We have something there, yeah. But my usually my style is not to, just to give a presentation and say bye-bye. I really like to share the community together. I wish we could be somewhere in a farm, sitting with a nice fire, right? And making some barbecue together and then talk, share our experiences, right? I don't know if you do. Do you do barbecue here? Yeah? Somewhere. Sometimes. Marshmallows.
The 1 week is nice.
But we just celebrated the day of cosmic blessing, right? And also the day of God's eternal blessing. Actually, the eternal that should be eternal blessing and the rest, the Sabbath, right? But so we were reflecting together these days, and also after here, I will be going to visit our neighbors in Sweden, Peter and his wife, and then I'll be going to Norway uh, to see Ole and his wife, and then I'll be going to Korea for there'll be the celebration of True Father's Holy Sangwa and so the special great works. So I'm a kind of a moving around, and but I'll come back with my wife. I promise you. I had a good taste of your country. I like your community. I feel very comfortable here. I have a nice room. I'm used to many kind of places, so don't worry. I used to be in Afghanistan, in Romania in 1991. Somebody's from Bulgaria here, right? So that time things were very, very different than now, right? So yeah, I like to adjust. But I was very happy to be with the Lions family yesterday with the kids and play Mario. And then they talk in Italian to me, Mario, right? Try to pretend they know Italian, but it's funny. Yeah. So is Mario from Italy or from where? Yeah. But the game is not from Italy.
No, it's from Japan.
Yeah, right.
It's the Japanese view of Italians.
So how you doing? You have any question to me? I mean, before I start to talk, otherwise I won't stop, right? How you doing? Good.
Where are you from?
Where am I from? Oh, that's a long question. He was telling me about your family, right? That you move around. Actually, my parents, good morning. Welcome. My parents, they are Italian, but I was born in Brazil. You know Brazil? I heard that there are some Brazilians here. You want? É. Fala português ainda? Sim. Sim? Ou esqueceu? Não? Sometimes, I speak to Brazilians. They say, "Do you still Portuguese? Speak Portuguese?" And they start to speak in Spanish. I say, "No, that's not Brazilian." But yesterday I met one guest from Brazil. I think it was just visiting. But always I'm happy to meet Brazilians, so we can have a churrasco later. Huh? Yeah, I was born in Brazil. I lived there for my first 12 years. Yeah. I feel very grateful actually that I was born in Brazil because, you know, Europe is sometimes very boring. You need a little bit of samba, some kind of some spice, right? Otherwise, you're just sitting, formal cravat, necktie, right? So need a little bit of spice. But I was born in Brazil. I don't drink coffee much this time, I don't do much samba this time, but so my wife said, "What's happened with your Brazilian spice?" Well, yeah, but it is in my blood actually. Yeah. I live in a multicultural society, and my many of my father's friends were from Japan, and that's why I feel very close to Japanese people. And also, we had our kind of a nanny was a black woman, from I mean Brazil, but from Africa originally. So we adjusted to many kind of cultures, and I moved to Italy, and after meeting true parents, I was a tennis coach when I was 16 and a half because my father, my two brothers, they also tennis coach. And I joined the Air Force when I was very young, also 17 and a half. But then, God had different plan. He said, "Yeah, I need you for something else." I joined the movement and I say, "Bye-bye." Yeah, that's a little bit an introduction. Yeah, yeah. Something else?
Soccer.
Soccer, yeah. I did play soccer and I love it, soccer, but they keep hitting my chin. So I say, "Come on, let me play." So then I decided to go for tennis. I didn't want to be kicking my legs. Yeah, yeah. I like soccer. But Brazil didn't win this time, so England also didn't do well.
Okay.
So
Ireland also.
Ireland also, right?
It's Jack's fault.
So how's life here? How are you doing? You're not talking, like make me talk.
Not too bad. Is
Not too bad. These days we are living in a very, yeah, the society is going through a big travail, right? We have many wars. Actually, I live in, most of my life, I live in war countries. So I was telling Eli that I saw people die because of the war, and they were just surrounding my own house. About 700 people died just in 3 days, and that really shook me up from inside. Because one thing you see from TV, but when you see directly, you can't close your eyes, you can't close your ears, and that is always resonating with you. And I told God, I said, "I'll give my life to help brothers and sisters unite." That was my prayer. So I think God listened to that prayer. And that's why he's, pushing me, pulling me to different places. Some people told me, oh, wherever you go, there's a war. Maybe you're bringing war there. I said, well, not me. Yeah, last war was in Lebanon. Yeah, but now also I'm living most of my time in Russia. There is war there. Yeah, so when you're in a war, you cannot stay for one side. You need to comfort both sides and try to make peace. But yeah, so this kind of situation bring a lot of put us to reflect, right? Especially as a holy community where we are standing, what is our standard? What is our, what we can do, to help? Because most of the times we are looking you know, to understand my own situation, to find stability in my own life. But then we need to deal at the same time many challenges, including true mother situation this time, right? So today I want to a little bit talk about, this journey that is all of humankind is going through a journey, long journey to connect to Heavenly Parents' heart, right? That's our journey. That's our final destination. So true parents, they decided that that was their major target in life. And they ask us to inherit that spirit, that journey. So we are trying, but how are we managing, right? Because, when True Father started his life, right, of devotion to God, he was put into jail. He was put in the prison camp. And then Satan was saying to him, do you want to continue this mission? Do you really want to help humankind? If you do that, I'll put you to die. Not one time. Then Father say, I will continue. And then again, Satan says, are you sure? So that was Father's experience. But now we see Mother's situation is very similar in many ways, right? From different corners. So sometimes we're thinking about ourselves. So where we standing, right? Because we are living in this society, right? We see the news, we watch many things that are affecting us. So how do we cope with that? Where is our central point of life? So anyway, I just want to share some experience. Maybe can we move ahead? This is a picture actually from Alaska of true parents. Maybe some of you went to Alaska. Did you go to Alaska some fishing? No? No? Maybe in your dreams you went there. Right? But I had experience in Alaska. Maybe let's see if I have time. So anyway, I have been traveling, and before coming here, I had a chance to meet Reverend Du, after my car accident and so on. And so this journey was supposed to come here earlier, but I didn't. But this was in Spain, so we met Reverend Du and Mrs. Du. Did you have a chance to meet them? Maybe not yet, right? And they wanted to come actually also here. They wanted to come everywhere because Mother actually asked them to go and visit our families. Please go there and bring my love to our brothers and sisters. And that's the purpose of actually of my visit. I really wanted to meet all of you, or come to your home, not just sit here, or standing here, but I want to come to your places as I did with Eli and Vicky and Victor. Victor, right? I wanted to come and see you, talk to you, listen to you. So please give me a chance to, another invitation. I can come. But Reverend Du really came. He was appointed by True Mother. He's a very interesting person. He's very simple. You know, he doesn't have so many schemes, many plans, you know. He say, I want to really transfer the heart of true mother and true parents. And that's really what Mother asked him to do, you know, to comfort our communities and really help our communities to stay alive, to stay healthy. So this was a picture on the right. You can see here some leaders of our community from different countries, from Portugal also, because we're doing the transition of new leadership in different countries. So the purpose of their visit is to meet each other and to share, you know, our hearts. So his wife is very friendly. She speaks English, so if you have a chance, she likes to talk, to share, with, especially with your sisters, you know, take time with her. She's a good Korean sister, but very open mind. And also they help us to reflect. Just like I'm asking you, you know, how you doing? They also ask us, how are you doing? How's your families? How your communities doing? And then we talk about changing leadership, you know, passing the flame. You heard this word, right? You know the this terminology, right? Passing the flame. What is connected to? How do you connect that
Olympics.
to Olympics, right? And what's happened in the passing the flame,
It connects different communities, different.
right? Somebody carry, right, the flame. Like it's like a relay race, right? Somebody is running, 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 giving everything, and then the next person, what he does, huh? Catches.
Yeah.
Is it easy to catch that little thing? Not easy, right? Sometimes drop on the floor, right? So the passing the flame is very important because if you drop that, you lose. You lose the race. So what's happened is both are running, right, at the same pace. Both need to meet that specific money and then pass successfully and continue running to the victory line. So that's why it's important, this passing. I know in your community also you're working on that. I want to give a big hand. Let's give a big hand to Lion and his wife, right? 12 years. Is it only 12? I think it's more than 50 years they've been. It seems long journey, right? He doesn't say much, you know, he never complains, he always smiles. But I know he carries a lot of stuff in his heart. And I really, as a second gen, I really want to, yeah, praise your family for what you have done. My son, you know, he took responsibility for a while, for about 4 years. It was not easy. So thank you. Yeah, so we need to really keep moving forward. Can you move for one more? Yes. That's my wife there. I think some of you know her. Maybe in the Zoom
Yeah.
calls, probably, right? But she's more American than Irish, sorry. You know. And she was trained by father, you know, she's very, very tough, you know, but very soft heart. You know, you can see sometimes she looks very tough externally, but internally very, very soft. So you need to reach that level. But she, you know, I brought her to Afghanistan, to Romania, so it was not easy, right? So she need to be strong. Yeah. So next one. So another purpose of, as I mentioned to you, Reverend Du, Mrs. Du, was to bring True Mother's love and hope. You know, so I really want you to, you know, Mother is praying for you, brothers and sisters. I had a chance to go to the detention center, actually. It was a privilege. And when I saw Mother, I saw her radiant, shining, you know, aura. I told her, Mother, you look so beautiful. And she was smiling, you know. And then she said, please take care of our second gen, third gen. So that's for me in my heart, always, you know, thinking about you. You know, as I try to represent true parents' heart and love, I really want to bring that, you know, her desires for you to be okay, you know, to feel joy and happiness in your heart and try to, you know, above all the difficulties. And she's also she's trying to be healthy. You know, this time is the only time she's taking care of her health. You know that? She had a broken shoulder, you know, not just because she fall down this time, 3 times, but before she had a problem. She had a problem in her heart, her legs, you know, her knees. And this time because she's in the hospital, so she's taking care of herself. Hmm? So it's amazing. And the Reverend do say, you know, she lost weight, you know, and then she looks much better because they're taking care. But she's, you know, she's just telling us, you know, be okay, be good. You know, I'm okay. Don't worry about me. So this is, I was very impressed by her. Actually, when you see mother in that kind of condition, it really strike you because she has a, you know, like a detention center person. So I really work on myself to not burst into tears. But beside me, there was another leader, another brother from Africa. He just blasted into tears. He couldn't hold, you know. It's very amazing. Actually, he's big, tall, guy. Yeah. So, but yeah, true mother really thinking about each one of you. You know, she say, "You're my diamonds." Huh? Think about that, you know, like she was here talking to you today. You know, when I was there actually praying, I stayed 3 days before I met her near the detention center. I think you saw that place. There is one brother from Tongimudo, and she grabbed my hand and said, "Give me your hand." And then he said, like this, you know. I said, "This is how mother took my hand." And then he say, "I promise, mother, you know, I will stay here until she come out." And then he say, "How long will it take?" So he was really struggling. How long will it take? But he say, "I'll stay here until she come out." So he told me about mother, you know, the situation. I could see, you know, and I was praying because I don't want to appear to Traumatis, you know, defeated or miserable. So I want to give her joy. And I said, "Mother, we love you. Our community is okay. You know, don't worry." But then she said, don't worry about me, you know. So it's very interesting. So please, brothers and sisters, you know, feel her love. And recently, also next, I was in Russia. I had a chance to attend 40 days Young Song leadership training. I think you had an experience, short experience last time here, right? Eli? When was that? Last year? Oh, this year.
Yeah, this year.
And for me, I'm going through the same challenges as you. Don't worry. You know, sometimes we appear as a big leaders, right? Big shots, no emotions, no, you know, always perfect neckties. But actually, we are going through the same stuff. So I need to go and tune myself up. So I went there. I took out all my, fancy clothes, just a t-shirt and then simple pants and do cheongsong. I joined my brothers and sisters. And I could see that actually my body was pretty broken after the accident. I really felt miserable, honestly speaking. I don't need to hide anything from you. I felt, can I continue? Will I be able to stand again, front line? But then I say, okay, my spirit is same. Can my body follow my spirit? So I told my body, try. I, I give you a chance to prove. So I went. I said, let me tune, mind and body unity, right? We talk about these things, right? Father told us. So I can see that because I was resonating, right? My body was responding day by day and started to connect because actually when you hit, I was hit back and head and pull everything, all my my bones, I don't know, my muscle, my nerves, everything was crazy. And even I could not think properly. But then everything started to realign. And it was very interesting because I didn't want to miss even Reverend Du or brothers and sisters that I promised I want to support. And it was very interesting. At one point, 5 a.m., I woke up with the father woke me up, and we were sitting just like this. Oh, I'm here. Yeah, right there. So father took my hand like this, and he said in front of everybody, "You are my son," just like that. I said, "Oh my God." So, think about the dream. I feel like, wow, Father loved me, Father, I'm Father's son. And then, during the workshop, I realized if I'm Father's son, you need to behave like Father's son, right? And I thinking, Father went through Hunnam, isn't it? Father was beaten up. You remember? Father's, even the bones were coming out from his hand because of sulfuric acid. And he need to fulfill that promise to God and to his fellow brothers and sisters, right? So I'm thinking about Father. So I have the same character as Father. Right? I need to prove that. And it's very interesting because when you think about true parents, usually that's the way I revive. If I think about myself, it's easy to say, well, I'm not so strong, I'm not so tough. But something comes from inside. Do you experience that, right? So this is really, I felt really this, everybody was trying to tune. We are shedding tears. We're praying. We are asking, God to help us to find the right balance, right tune. And very interesting that we started to resonate. We created such incredible energy there. And I realized that actually, many things, maybe you're not used to the new things that are happening during this Young Song or during this Chongshimon experience, but many things are changing. We're growing, we're developing, and the work is coming more like a synergy work with all the different organization, all the different people are coming in. We had the high noon teaching, we had the Champumuro, but not only that, everything together. And I can see that it became so powerful. The message was very strong and really helped our community to feel empowered. And they are now launching the Young Song Academy in Europe. So there are already 18 young people that are ready to be trained and go, in different countries in Europe, within Europe, right? So not just our Japanese or our Oriental Koreans or from America, but we can have people from here. So we are really, this is some pictures. No, next, please. Yeah, we were tuning, adults, young people all together from different countries. And you also are doing this 40 days devotion, isn't it? Right? With the fasting, with the different conditions, you know. And but it's not easy, right? One thing is when you're there in these workshops, well, when you're doing these conditions that you need to do within the work, within your job, you get distracted, right? Where am I? Mm. But we need to keep searching. My son's mother-in-law, she's Japanese. Who is Japanese here? One, two, oh yeah. She's very interesting. She lives in the basement of my son's house, and they arranged very nice for her to stay there. Unfortunately, her husband passed away the day they needed to move in. So she's doing a lot of chongsong, alone. And but she took a mission, say, I want to help, my son's family. I mean, her daughter also and their grandchildren. And she's doing a lot of devotion there. She always tuned in the Choshimon music and prayers. So she transformed that house into something like almost like Chonshimon. And my son say, how many times people need to do this condition? So don't worry, she's a special case, Next. Yeah, so, we all doing that, not just the simple people, leaders, members, we're all trying because we all need to tune. Don't you feel that? Right? You feel like the guitar. What's your name again, sir? Cole? Colin. Yeah, Colin came early this morning. He was tuning. I could hear him from the prayer room. Nice music. I like music. You need to tune before you play. So our spiritual life is sane. Jesus used to say that we shouldn't be a noisy gong, right? Do you remember that? Mm. Don't be a noisy gong. We can be that. I can be that. If I don't tune myself, it doesn't sound good, right? Vibration is not good. So I think that this, please, brothers and sisters, this condition that bring us to celebrate true parents, very important moment, like Father's ascension is very important. We need to honor his legacy. It's passing the flame. Actually, Father is the first one that is passing the flame. You realize that? And mother is passing the flame. To whom she's passing the flame? What do you think? To Umberto or to Eli? Or to somebody? Yeah, I'm not capable. Who is capable? But we all part of true parents' family, isn't it? That's why true parents say, "You're my family." So they want to pass the flame to you, to us all, isn't it? So how to inherit that if we don't tune ourselves, we don't make the condition? So these 40 days, please, all brothers and sisters around the world are making this condition together with you. It doesn't matter what you do, can be one day fasting, can be, skipping meal, but we can tune ourselves to that vibration and then we can start to resonate. Do you remember the Pentecost next time? Do you remember the Pentecost? What's happened at that time? Do you remember? Were they tuned? Were the disciple of Jesus tuned to Jesus? You shake your head, right? There was a betrayer, right? And everybody else was scared to death to stand up for Jesus. And they were desperate that in any moment their head will be chopped off, isn't it? So they were really desperately praying to find a way. And then the Holy Spirit came by the grace of God, actually, by the grace of Jesus, not because of them. So that's the same situation here. We have our difficulties, but actually, Heavenly Parent understands. Mother understands. She's not judging us. She's not saying, wow, a holy community is in crisis and, oh my God, what did I sacrifice myself for? No. She understands. That's why she say, I'm your mother. Because mother, what to do? What do they do? Take care. Clean the diapers, right? Clean the poo-poo. Very smelly poo-poo, right? My grandmother used to, we are 6 children, no, siblings. So at that time they had the cloth one. So she used to put in this big tank. And I say, what do you make your be fussy about this thing, I said, it's your poo-poo. I'm cleaning. I just wash it. And that's mother. So mother say to us, this was 2024. Can you read it with me? Can you help me? The Creator, Heavenly Parent, created all things that will resemble Himself and created men and women as His last creation. He gave the men and women a period of self-growth to ascend to the position of perfection. Perfection. Do we still believe about perfection? Do we see ourselves as perfect human beings? No. We don't. That's a reality. But that's not the end. Because Heavenly Parent created us with that purpose, and that is going to be successful. As I have promised, what it says in Isaiah, in the Bible, as I have promised, I will fulfill that. It's a promise. God never missed his promise. And so, true parents same. And we also have that characteristics. But let's continue. That means the Creator wanted to be with humans at the position of perfection. However, unfortunately, the first ancestor of human beings, Adam and Eve, fell. The fall of human means they no longer have any relationship with the Creator. That's the starting point of us. We need to understand how we started. So father and mother, they realize our situation, human beings, not just unification member, but humankind, physical and spiritual Lord. So you don't get surprised. You know what is your job and you do your job. That's what true parents do. Right? So we need to understand where we are standing and then move on. Next. Wow, he's so synchronized. You can feel my finger. Thank you. So we study a lot of time this one, right? How many times we study divine principle? This is the reality. We understand. True parents could give us a very clear explanation what's happened of the fall, the disconnection between, human beings towards God. Right? So that's the starting point. And Jesus said, you have a reputation for being alive, but you're dead spiritually. So if we are not careful, even myself, I can be a dead human being. Even if I have position, doesn't matter. I'm just like you. I'm just like anybody that walk on the street. Any moment, I can be tempted, I can be challenged, I can be defeated. Right? Isn't it? Have you been tested? Right? No, I was in the airplane, suddenly this hostess come to me, I had my Divine Principle book with me, and she just standing like this with a skirt, very short skirt. I said, this is a little bit uneasy, strange. Why? So I opened my Divine Principle book. I usually have my children's picture. I said, this is my family. Another one, in the street. Hi, sir. I was doing witnessing. I said, are you married? I said, yeah, no. Oh, you can divorce. Another experience. We were playing golf with my former leader. And the caddy is a person that take care of. So we had our own little party. And then there's another one, they were finishing, going towards the changing room. And this girl waving to me. But I didn't think that it was me. So I looked behind, nobody there. And then we're coming closer to say, hi, sir. I said, hi. I said, do you know me? And I say, are you married? Same story. So yeah, I'm married. She said, you can divorce. She said, wow. I'm not interested. And then next addition, I'm good at night.
You sure she want money?
I say a lot.
They sure she didn't want money.
I say I love my family. I love my wife. So we are living in a society that is not clear. When somebody introduced me, the neighborhood here is pretty uneasy style, right? How to cope that. So next. So, this is the reality after the fall, right? I don't need to describe you all the points, but there are many things happen and it's connected to this physical body. Huh? If I want it or not, if it is my ancestors or whatever, is with me, myself. So how am I dealing with my daily life is very important. How am I tuning to God or to any other channel is important. How I respond to the daily situation in my life is important. It's not enough just to come and Sunday service, brothers and sisters, right? We realize that. We need to tune ourselves constantly, constantly. And that's what true parents have been doing. And that's why they could stand in that position as a true son and true daughter of God. We say, begotten son and daughter. So they are not stopping on true parents to be like that. We need to resemble them, isn't it? So fathers say very clear, they say habits next. Habits form over a lifetime, cannot be eliminated, even though you try until you die. Do you see any habits in your life? Right? First gen, second gen, third gen. I thought my children would be perfect second gen. I realized, well, no, they can't. They inherit my fallen nature, actually, not their fallen, my fallen nature. Right? You can feel that, right? Fathers say, thus, it is logical to say that habits and fallen nature that have been passed down over millions of years cannot be rooted out with efforts made over a few centuries. This is a serious issue. You speak vaguely about fallen nature, but this fallen nature was not inherited through something being eaten. People are so confused. You know, somebody says the apple, somebody says the wheat. You know, in Islam, they say the wheat. Somebody say Pandora box or somebody. But father and mother explain very clear what is fallen nature and is connected to me, myself. So fathers say fallen nature has been inherited through flesh and bone. It has been passed down through lineage. Which lineage? Adam and Eve only?
Oh,
How about the Angelucci? Or the Karens? My wife is Karens. Same. We are the product of that lineage. Did you struggle in your teenage age, right? How to stand, right? I was a completely two sides, opposite. One want to be just like anybody else. Why I cannot be just like anybody else? And the other side was saying, well, there's something else within you. I didn't know what was. And that was the God within me. Thanks God. Right? Thanks God that He took care of me. I could have been a mess, really a mess. I was in a mess before I met your parents. Even though I was a tennis coach, I was in the Air Force, but internally I was, there was a war. I didn't like how people live. I didn't like how men play around, especially, married men. They were telling me, oh, you're handsome. Why don't you go with other women? I said, what are you talking about? You're a married man. Why did you marry? So this fallen nature is not something just, true parents talk to teach around. It's connected to human beings, myself. So if we don't clear up this stuff, it goes down automatically to our children. That is not only sexual problems. Please understand me. What is before the fall? Right? What's happened with Adam and Eve in the beginning? Concepts, feelings, not filter feelings, not filter thoughts, disconnection from the main central lineage that was God. So that created the space for something else to destroy, right? The lineage, the most sacred part. So fathers say fallen nature has taken root and cannot be removed with human energy. It has grown to a gigantic tree, gathering up all the people of the world. Wow. All the people. Okay, next. Do you remember this one? Right? Very clear. So I think there's one more click and then something will appear. Yeah, next one. So, we have original sin, we understand that. But how about the rest? Who is taking care of the rest? What do you think? I think Eli should take care, right? He saved me, right?
Yeah.
I think Eli can do it. Yeah, Eli can do it. That's good. It's good my central figure can take care of my sin. Does it work like that? Dumb. Right? So true parents come, but actually, when we study this one, right, usually there's three stages, right? You remember that? Formation, growth, completion. So we should be able to reach the highest level of the formation, growth stage, right? Be without any fallen nature anymore. And then come Messiah, take out original sin, and then husband and wife, forever happy. Wow. Anna, right? Isn't that what you want to establish, right? Yeah. Right? But what's happened? Reality. A lot of things, right? Right? So fallen nature interfering with the purpose of life. The purpose even of Messiah coming, sent by God, by heavenly parents. So our blessed families, our blessed couples, we don't need to be surprised. There are problems. I'm a blessed couple myself. And then we're chosen to be leaders of our community. Does leaders have fallen nature? I have many fallen natures. But we're supposed to perform. And through this performance, we can change together as brothers and sisters, doing the same work. And cleaning up, continue to clean up. That's our responsibility. Not true parents' responsibility. Not the community responsibility. Not my central figure responsibility. It's my responsibility. If I realize I have something wrong with me, hot temper, no temper, right? Sometimes we have no temper. Nothing. Stable, very stable. Right? Oh my God. So we don't know how to see each other. And that creates some difficulties, right? But that's okay. True parents understood that. We need to understand. So we don't become just a spectator or analyzer of the situation. Because true parents never did that. Jesus never did that. God never does that. God didn't appoint us to be the judges. Not even to myself. I don't need to judge myself. I need to encourage myself. And I needed to encourage myself when I was in a bottom down, as I mentioned to you. I need to remind myself of my original nature, my original self, so I could revive. Next. So I may take a little bit longer. I want to excuse myself, but I want to share with you some points. So Father was not born perfect. Don't you think so? Mother was not born perfect. Were you born perfect? We thought that, right? Our second generation perfect. I thought. And it's not to accuse second generation. No, that's not the point. But it takes time. Adam and Eve were not perfect. Jesus was not perfect when he was born. Isn't it? So Father, he worked. I want to just analyze a little bit with Father, right? About his experience. He said, I was 16 years old when I had my first experience of actually knowing God. Before then, I was married in a position of a humble seeker of truth. Ever since I entered boyhood, I had been contemplating the fundamental questions of human life, Father was asking about the purpose of life. He was like you, like me, questioning. And he struggled with God. Sometimes we say, oh, I don't like Chonshimon, the way they pray. But don't worry about that. What is your relationship with God? What is your desperate prayer to find that God that can help your character to stand as a God's son, as a God's son? Right? So, can somebody tell you, don't do that? Leave me alone. Right? I want to pray like that. I need to find God. That's how I experienced Chonshimon myself. I saw Father in tears with my own eyes. I saw Father say, I'm a sinner. I saw Father myself. I saw Mother herself saying the same thing. So how do I need to pray? Sometimes we question, oh, why we pray this, that way. Don't worry about it. Think about how you're going to solve these fundamental questions that still we have in our own life, isn't it? If we're blessed, if we're married, no married, if you're looking for a spouse. So Father say, who am I? Where did I come from? Father used to say, do you need me, God? Imagine, do you need me? This man, I have no talents. I have no experience. Do you feel that sometimes? Do you? Do you? Right? As a national leader, do you need me? I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. I was appointed, right? Regional leader. I have a master plan. Oh yeah, I have my magic ball at home. Eli knows. I answer all his questions. No way. How to do, brothers and sisters? This is the fundamental point. So Father, he struggled through and he found a way. And the same mother, same situation. Father was asking, just like you, what can I do? And then that moved him because once he got that point, once he started to communicate with God, his spiritual eyes opened. Do you remember that experience? Father saw Heavenly Parent shedding tears. I care about you. I'm worried about you going to die. That was my experience in Afghanistan, actually, that I share in some of my testimony. I don't have time today. Very interesting. I came to that point. I say, wow. That's why I say I can give my life. I have no problem. My life doesn't depend on me. Time after time, I came up against dark obstacles. Can you change that? Dark obstacles. Do you believe in evil spirits? Now we don't call them evil spirits anymore because we understand they are spirits that actually are just confused, right? There are dark forces. They're trying to disrupt us, me, myself. As you are battling, I'm battling too every night to sleep, to stay awake, or to, challenge. My father say, this is very beautiful words from father. Whenever that happened, I remember God's voice when he told me, I am alive. You will not know that his voice remains in the marrow of my bones to this day. I have not forgotten God's sorrowful situation, which he shared with me when he called me. I cannot forget God's plea to me. And God said to him, you need to focus only on your relationship with me. You must not forsake me. Sometimes I feel sorry for my own situation, but then I remember that God's situation is more sorrowful than mine. Next. So how can we inherit that kind of right? Treasure that kind of experience. So father and mother resonate with God, right? So how can we inherit that? Just by reading father's autobiography? Father say you cannot inherit true love by studying true love. How to do? What is the nature of true love, brothers and sisters? You know more than me. Living for the sake of others. What does that mean? Giving. Giving. Giving everything. We need to take action. I need to take action. You need to take action. I'm not saying this because I'm your leader, your boss. No, don't worry. I'm not here in this kind of position. But if we do not do it that way, we cannot develop. And we will struggle because the purpose of our heart, our love, is to give. If we don't give, we're suffocated. We die. We freeze. So we need to resemble, following true parents' lifestyle, legacy. Same pattern. We don't need to worry that much. So fathers say human beings are born from, oh, next. So can you read it with me? Human beings are born from fallen parents. This is why you find yourself changing every day, living in ignorance of your purpose and direction, groaning in despair. However, the path you are destined to go is not a path that changes from one moment to the next. You must not be one way is the morning, in another way in the evening. You need to have the firm belief and conviction that true parents' path is my path. True parents' daily life is my daily life. Where true parents stand, I will stand. True parents' word is my word. And you should be able to say you cherish true parents more than anyone to do else in the world. There will be storms on your path while attending true parents. Yet, no matter how furiously the tempests blow, you should be able to surmount them and even find delight in them. If you do so, you'll be able to, just dreaming about the restoration of the Lord in the future, you will be actualizing that united world. So we're not here only to be a dreamers, right? We want to really make the ideal world, the ideal community. And I can feel that from you. I can hear that from your representatives here. You have a dream, you have a desire. Not easy. It's not easy. Don't be surprised. Don't be surprised. We don't need to be surprised that we have difficulties. We are facing a lot of challenges. But as you see in other holy communities, especially in Japan, that has been hit even harder than any other place, or in Korea now, they're responding with the original heart, original self. So there is no fear. People can take whatever they want. Can they take your soul? Cannot. Can they take your family? Cannot. Can they take our holy community spirit? Cannot. Can they take our believing God and true parents? Cannot. So Father say, just don't wait. Hold on. Next. I'm almost done. Knowing about the heavenly, this is from True Mother, about a heavenly parent, however, does not mean you can stand before him. As fallen people, everyone must set up indemnity conditions, receive the blessing of rebirth and resurrection from the true parents, and then complete the heavenly tribal Messiah responsibility as blessed families. Mother is very interesting because, you have mothers, right? Mother is very go to the point, right? Okay, a lot of talk, but let's see the facts. What do you have done all these years? I mean, I was under so much training from True Father. Words and words. We used to read 120 days. We had the most important thing was to read Father speeches. So we had thousands of volumes, right? We study all these volumes. But how much Mother say, how much you have applied that? Mind and body unity, fundamental point, right? So you've done that? Very interesting, huh? Mother always, and then very interesting when I'm with Mother, she's like, she's very strong actually. You know, she's not soft. She's very strong, very, precise and very tense because she gives 100% of herself. So that was interesting that the meeting when she appointed me as a vice president for Europe. So we are in a meeting and everybody froze. Nobody froze. But in my heart, I felt somebody need to sing, somebody need to do something. So that moment, Mother say, if somebody have something to say, please share. So I raised my hand. I said, come on, good. Good. So I come there. I say, Mother, can I sing a song for you? And I said, no. Oh. I want to hear a report. Very serious moment just before she went to the detention center, all this traveling. So she wanted to make sure where we're standing. So I realized, okay, so I need to say something. I say, Mother, you had appointed me as before in the Middle East. I didn't do so well. Sorry for that. And I say, now you appointed me for Europe. I say, I'll give my entire life to help Europe to fulfill Heavenly Parents' wish, true parents' wish. Then I finish. Of course, I did a bow, And I say, can I sing a song? So she smiled, and I sang Santa Lucia. So she was happy, and the atmosphere really changed, So then other people, so she asked them to sing. But Mana is very precise. So don't be surprised if she say, do you remember I'm bottom? You know I'm bottom? So this, let's say this is, okay, here. This is like this, right? Does it look nice? It looks really strange. Man, who's this guy, right? Doesn't even know. So she say I'm bottom and bottom again, properly. So she's asking us to do this. She say reflect and reorient yourself. If we never reflect, we think we're doing everything good, but actually you're not doing everything good. We know. If people come to accuse us, it's because we're doing something wrong. And then we need to just change. So Mara say, come on. She doesn't judge us usually. After that moment, she invited us to go shopping, Puhang Pekajong. There is this Puhang Pekajong in the training center. And she was there. I will show you a picture, just a nice picture. So she say, our blessed families have the responsibility for the salvation and liberation of even their ancestors. So she's telling us, we're not only supposed to take care of this world, but also the upper part, upper house. Only then can there be hope for future. So she's telling all this stuff. With the passing years next, you are moving together with the only begotten daughter who is on the earth today towards the completion of heaven's providence. So heaven's providence is going to be fulfilled. She told during my visit at the detention center, she says, Sunni, this is the time of victory. Don't worry. Just use the different lens, right? You need to change your perspective. So say we are in a golden age. Golden age, even though we have difficulties, even though there's wars and typhoons, is a golden age. And she said by 2027, this is very important, brothers and sisters, the 60th anniversary of Heavenly Parents' Day will be celebrated. Those who know the true parents and know the family tradition need to change. But she said, like this, the snake, they need to change their skin. Say, it cannot grow large if it doesn't change their skin. So we need to do the same. It is a painful thing. So it must be done. So anyway, this is just a few words about Danbury time. That time people thought Father imprisonment was supposed to be a defeat of our movement. They're already mocking our movement completely. And what's happened after Father was imprisoned? Actually, everybody started to support our movement. You remember that? So Mother is reminding us that. So this, I want to end with this picture. So after, that situation that I told you, Mother was very serious. And she was saying, I gave you, I was there with Dieter Schmidt. You can see Dieter. Oops, next picture, sorry. Yeah. You see Dieter there. Maybe you know him more than me. And Mother was telling to me and to Dieter, say, I gave my life to carry on heavenly dignity. Heavenly dignity. How are you standing for that? Say, even to build the Chongwon Children's Center, I didn't do for my purpose, for heavenly dignity. And people don't understand how you're going to carry heavenly dignity. So anyway, this was very serious moment. Then she said, let's meet to the Pekajon. I said, choose something beautiful. So I choose this shirt and this necktie. And I come there, Mother, how is this? She was very happy. You can see she was very, very relaxed after being very serious. She's usually very natural, actually. So can you see what she's eating? Fries, right? Do you like fries? So she had a very nice, fries. And then she was there looking at fries. And then she said, woo, Dieter. She just called Dieter. Look what I found. And she gave it to me. Take it. It's a big one, and then she asked Reverend Hori, come here. And then she had another long one. And then Damien, can see only a few people. And then she called me. I was here in this picture. And then I need to think, I try to follow my inspiration, my heart. So I got the chip, and then I said, Mother, we need some ketchup. Where is the ketchup? Where is the ketchup? In front of her plate. And she said, come here. So she asked everybody to go there to her plate. Okay. So anyway, that's our mother. Let's give a big hand to our mother, right? So I just want to end. I'm not here to show off. Mother Asha asked me many, many things in my life as a leader. But I, honestly speaking, didn't fulfill. I'm very repentful of that. Big goals. She said, you can restore, the Muslim world, the Jewish people. Did I do that? I didn't. I did something, but not enough. I struggle just like you. When I repent, I shed tears. I tell Heavenly Father, please change me. I don't want to be always like this. I need to be better. My family is suffering. My children are suffering because of my character. I cannot love them as you love them. So when I stand here, what did I do? Myself. So I'm also reflecting and reorienting during this time period. So let's do together, so that we can prepare a better community that can really, as you dream, to welcome the whole country. It's a beautiful nation, beautiful people, beautiful ancestors. They have suffered a lot. So we can give them hope. We can give them joy. But by our joy, right? We need to be joyful. We need to be excited. So that's why I was very happy when I saw Eli's kids here. So anyway, I don't need to go through everything, but the final one, you can get it. I will leave my presentation to you. So let's just try, like our true parents. They struggle. I saw true father and true mother's tears many times. So we are struggling. You are struggling. It's normal because we came from a fallen situation, very far away from God. We are getting closer and closer. We are getting to the point, final destination. So we just need to continue. So thank you very much, brothers and sisters. Maybe should I pray? Pray? Why not we stand up, maybe? Our most beloved Heavenly Parent, today as we are here, as brothers and sisters, we want to really thank you, Heavenly Parent. Thank you for, first of all, for allowing us to be born, because we could have missed to be here alive at this time. Thanks to you, you choose our parents, you choose our true parents to find us and to give us a chance to work along with you. So we want to thank you, Heavenly Parent, for giving us a chance to be here. At the same time, we want to say sorry to you if anything that we couldn't do well. While you gave this opportunity to us, it's a chance to cooperate with you. It's an honor, actually. But through our understanding, day by day, we want to do better, Heavenly Parent, because really we do wish to help you more and to help others around us. Not just here in this holy community, but everywhere in this world. People need us. People need me. So please comfort the heart of my beloved brothers and sisters in this time here, in this holy community. They went through so much recently, and some of them went to the spiritual world. So we pray for all of them, all of our beloved brothers and sisters, we want to thank them for making that kind of a exemplary way of life. So we want to continue, as passing the flame, we want to continue moving forward. Please bless once again this community. I want to pray for each and every one of them. And in your behalf, I ask your blessing upon them. And I report all of this together, standing as a central blessed family. I report this in the name of Umberto Andelucci, attending Holy Mother of God with gratitude. In all our names, Adieu.
Adieu.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing your experiences, your thoughts. It's really special to hear about the things that are personal and we can't really experience ourselves anymore. So thank you for sharing that and all your thoughts and things to reflect about. I think that was very cool Sunday service. So thank you so much. Give him please one round of And now, if we can close with one final song, if you can all rise up, and we'll sing The Garden of Restoration.